Alright, so I've got my first fifth wheel trailer hooked up. I totally forgot all about doing a video hooking it up. I was just so, I don't know if you call it paranoid or what, about making sure that I had it set up correctly, since I've never personally towed a fifth wheel. So I just wanted to make sure it was set up correctly. And like I said, I was, I guess, call it a little bit paranoid or nervous, whatever, that I just kind of focused in on that. Like I said, I've never pulled one before, never hooked one up before, so I just did as much research as I could, watched as many videos as I could, and then when I got there, I double checked everything was tight on the fifth wheel, was ready to go, figured out how to adjust the height of the trailer. Luckily, it was pretty close because, you know, it was at our storage facility, so whoever dropped it there, you know, probably had it hooked up to theirs, and it was similar height. But you know, obviously I was a little bit nervous, but I got locked in. It's definitely a different experience. I just got on the road, so it's not like I've been driving for 100 miles or anything. I stopped and checked it right outside of town when I was getting on the highway, and I actually realized that I totally forgot to put on the plate for it and my DOT tags, so I pulled over on the on-ramp and tossed those on it. I just, like I said, I forgot, just in all the hype of getting it hooked up correctly. But I got everything figured out, tested the brakes, did the pull test. Everything is good. I definitely don't want to be one of those guys. I'm not judging or anything, I guess I should say that, but I see a lot of trucks with the bed sides smashed down, and I can only imagine that you know, the fifth wheel wasn't hooked up properly, came unhooked for some reason, came down. Not only did it probably do you know, obviously a ton of visible damage to the truck, but I would imagine that the underside of the fifth wheel isn't gonna hold up to falling onto a truck bed like that as well. So definitely not a situation that I want to be in. Yeah, so I got it hooked up. It's definitely different because when you look in your rear view mirror and you see the fifth wheel and it's right up on you versus like the travel trailer, and you can kind of see it like flexing with the hitch when you're turning and hitting bumps and stuff. It's definitely a little bit nerve-wracking, but everything I've been told is that I'm going to enjoy towing these trailers better. I honestly did not check the size or anything of this. It's a 331 Arctic Wolf. It's not a huge fifth wheel, so I think it's a good one to start out with. And I'm non-CDL, so it's not like I can tow a massive, you know, 30,000 pound fifth wheel or anything like that. So when I'm doing these fifth wheels, it's going to be the smaller ones. Worth noting, I don't get paid like any extra for pulling a fifth wheel. It's the same pay as, you know, the 20 footer I was pulling yesterday. So so if I don't like it, then, you know, I'll try to stick to travel trailers. If I do like it, if I get better gas mileage and it tows better, you know, then I'll tow more of them. See, it definitely took me a little longer to get this hooked up, but I think, you know, that's more of me just taking my time, doing it the right way, making sure I'm understanding everything. And then, like I said, I went through and checked the bolts, made sure everything was tight on the fifth wheel, so on the hitch. So I think, from what I've understood, you should be able to hook these up quicker than even a bumper pull. I don't know if that's true or not. I did find out that I have a camera that faces down into like the bed of the truck, and it's kind of foggy. I've never used it before. I jumped up and tried to like wipe it off, and it didn't help. So I don't know if like the lens is scratched, or maybe it's just like salt buildup and I really just got to clean it. But that I couldn't really see what I was doing, so it took me a long time to get it like set up, get it in place where it's going to lock in. So I think if I can get that camera figured out, get it cleaned up, hopefully I don't have to like replace it or anything, so I'm sure it's not cheap. But if I can get it cleaned up and it'll allow me to see a little better, then I can definitely speed up that hookup time. Trying to think, there was something else that I was thinking about. As far as loads, this is Thursday the 13th, and I'm only on load 2 of the week. So there's severe weather coming in to this area tomorrow evening and Saturday, and then I have a birthday party to go to on Sunday. So I'm gonna try to run one tomorrow. I'll try to leave out early so that I can beat the weather. Probably nowhere too far, because I think around like 5 p.m. That weather's gonna move in. So I'd like to, at the very least, I'd like to have the trailer unhooked by the time that weather comes in. But ideally be home, because they're talking like 70, 80 mile an hour winds, potential like baseball-sized hail, and then tornadoes. So definitely not a situation I want to have a trailer out in, and not a situation I want to even be driving in. I'd like to be home at that point. So we'll see. Hopefully I can get a load for tomorrow, and then I gotta look and see how long that weather's sticking around if I want to try to do something on Saturday. And I gotta see what time the party is on Sunday. I would love to get a 4th load in, but I'm kind of feeling like this is a 3-load week. This load that I've got here going to Sheboygan pays $570. The load that I had to Madison last night was $560. So I'm only at like $1130 for the week. If I get another load, I'm probably going to be in that like $1,600 to $1,800 range. Which is fine. That's enough. It doesn't hit the $2,000 that I want. But I had a few curveballs thrown at us this week with my daughter being sick and stuff, and then I had a meeting yesterday that I had to attend at right in the middle of the day. So all that combined definitely plays in, a factor. And then with the birthday party on Sunday, it's just, there may not be a potential for me to do one. But it kind of goes back to like that. It is nice to have the flexibility. Like, to say, I worked 3 days, made, let's say, $1,800, and I was able to stay home with my daughter when she was sick, and was able to go to this meeting I have to go to, and a party, and this and that, and still come away at the end of the week, with, say, around $1,800. I think that's pretty good. Obviously got to take expenses out of that, but all in all, pretty happy with it. Getting ready to start up with my business, so we'll throw that curveball into it. But I think this week kind of helped me understand how I'm going to do it. I'll be able to do some work during the day, be home in time to pick my daughter up from school, and then maybe head out at night and grab a trailer, bring it home, put it in my driveway, go to work the next day for my business, and then deliver at night or something. I'll figure it out. But I'm definitely seeing that I can be flexible. I can figure it out. I can make some money. All in all, if it all works out good, then I'll be making more money, because I'm going to be able to do my business that pays me well, and then I'm going to be able to do RV transport that also pays me pretty well. So yeah, kind of excited about it. A little bit nervous about honestly, I would say I'm more nervous about going back to my own business and like putting myself back in a position where I have to do the physical labor that I took myself out of for the last couple of years. And I haven't mentioned this, but one of the reasons that I took myself out of the physical labor of the work is because I got in a car accident like 2.5 years ago. Not my fault. Someone rear-ended me while I was at a stoplight, and I got like pretty bad whiplash, hurt my neck, back, and when I luckily it happened towards the end of my Christmas light season, like literally the last day that I was going to be doing a Christmas light install. I did have to cancel one, but luckily it wasn't like it affected me at that point of season, and I was able to rest and kind of get get mostly better, did some physical therapy and stuff before returning back to work. But one thing I noticed when I did return back to work is carrying like a 32-foot or 40-foot extension ladder, or even a 28-foot for that. By the end of the day, like just moving those around, getting on roofs, stuff like that, my neck would just be destroyed, and it would lead to headaches and things like that. So it kind of pushed me to hire people to do some of the physical labor so that I didn't have to lift those ladders and carry them around and stuff like that. But you know, it's been about a little over 2 years now, and I think it's a good time for me to jump back in. Like I said, I'm just a little bit nervous, just because I haven't been doing it. It's a lot more physical labor than I'm used to over the last couple of years, and then also just not knowing like what my back and neck is gonna do. It still flares up a lot. Like when I picked up like the fifth wheel hitch to put it in the bed of my truck, like that took me out for like 2 days where I was just in pain. But you know, I'm gonna end up hiring someone as a helper, and at the very least I'll be able to have them kind of move around the ladders if I need them to, or give me a hand moving around the ladders, a two-man it or something. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. I'll probably do a video when I drop this off. It's a nice trailer. I popped my head in. I didn't want to run the slide out or anything, but so far I will say it does tow nice. I definitely feel it a little bit on the bed of the truck. It's like a different feeling. It's not necessarily catching the wind as much, but worth noting that I didn't sag my truck much. Like stance-wise, it doesn't look like it needs airbags for something like this, but I wonder if it would take away that bounciness a little bit. So we'll kind of see, play it by ear. I just want to do a quick video. This is the first fifth wheel that I've towed. It is 10,020 pounds, 38 foot 3 inches, so not a very big one. You can see the fifth wheel set up in the bed. Let's see. Everything is good. I already inspected it. It feels big, even though it's really not big for a fifth wheel. Towed really nice, though. I ended up getting about 13 miles a gallon pulling it with my 6.7 Power Stroke F350 single wheel. Really nice trailer, though. All right, I'm gonna get this thing unhooked. All right, I just dropped that fifth wheel off in Sheboygan there. And everything went well. So I took it kind of easy for the most part. I mean, it pulled fine. I was doing 70, but I wasn't rushing or anything like that. Taking it easy over bumps and stuff. I just wasn't sure how the trailer was going to react. I had one weird. I'm trying to remember what it was that it was like I think it was like a bridge crossing where. Like it jarred the truck and then the trailer, and it kind of like, I don't even know really how to explain it. It kind of like jarred forward and back, and it just kept doing it until I hit the brakes. So I'm not sure what caused that, but that was the only time I felt it. And it wasn't anything like too crazy. Just worth making note that I went over the bridge, felt it kind of jar me, and then it didn't want to stop doing it until I hit the brakes, but might have just been like, I think maybe it like kind of rolled, like, I don't know, hopped up on the bridge. It was a pretty big bump. So but with that being said, when I start going over other like bridge crossings and stuff, I kind of hit the brakes, slowed it down a bit, so I wouldn't deal with that again. It was just something new for me, something I never felt. And then, but it went well. I got it unhooked. That all went easy. Got it inspected. Everything went good there. So it feels a lot bigger than it is, because it was only like 38 foot 3 inches, a little over 10,000 pounds. So 10,020. So it is, I think that's the biggest trailer I've pulled yet. I know I don't think I've pulled anything that weighed, I think the heaviest was like 8,500 before this. So, but I will say, with it being a fifth wheel, it definitely transfers the weight nicely, and you don't feel like you're pulling any, like an 8,000 pound travel trailer definitely feels heavier than a 10,000 pound fifth wheel. Let's say that, I guess, would be the best way to put it. I got decent gas mileage. It was like right around 13 miles a gallon, which was nice. I could make it all the way home. I got a quarter of a tank still, but I'm gonna stop in Wisconsin, southern Wisconsin, to take advantage of the fuel price. I think it's like $2.87 there with my fuel card, my Open Roads app. So I'm gonna top off because I am gonna have a trailer for tomorrow. I don't know what I'm getting yet. My dispatcher's gonna send it to me a little later, but he said he had something for me. I'm gonna try to leave out early so that I can beat any potential wind and weather and all that's gonna be coming in. So I'm trying to think. Yeah, it went good. Definitely don't mind pulling the fifth wheels. Still probably will be, I'm gonna check the hitch again, make sure nothing loosened up, and I might be getting another fifth wheel. I don't know, we'll see. Hopefully I'm picking something up out of Elkhart, but I don't know for sure. And I didn't really request for it to go anywhere, so if it is like a farther delivery, then I'm gonna have to just wake up a little earlier, leave a little bit earlier as well. Yeah, as far as everything else, I think it's probably going to be a 3-load week, but we'll see. I'm going to figure out what time. I got stuff going on this weekend. I would love to get a 4th load in, but because next week's going to be a little bit difficult for me because I have a training I'm doing for my business Thursday and Friday of next week. So then I'm probably only going to be able to run like maybe Monday, Tuesday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I'll have to see if I can do one over the weekend next week. So next week's looking almost for sure like it's just going to be a 3-load week. So yeah, at least I'll have 3 this week, but I would like to get to 4. We'll see. And then I think next weekend I can run like 1 next weekend, but I think I got work on my business one of the days, so I'll be working both days of next weekend likely. Probably 1 RV transport, 1 with my power washing business. So that'll be like the real start to all that. Doing both jobs type thing, but we shall see what happens there. Yeah, that'll be it for this video. I'll do a video tomorrow with whatever I'm picking up. If it is a 5th wheel, I'll try to do a better job doing a video of the hookup. I gotta figure out what's causing that camera to be a little bit foggy, so when I get home, I'll see if I can't clean that up a little bit.